Hi, Eric here, and welcome to another video of my series on creating dynamic teams. Now, one of the core requirements in creating a dynamic team is understanding the diversity within the team. So in this video, I'm going to explore one aspect of that diversity, the concept of being an introvert or an extrovert. Now, on the talent dynamic square shown here, we put extrovert on the right and introverts on the left. We use these terms within their popular meaning because we're looking at them from the level of observed behaviours. Now, an extrovert is seen as someone who's outgoing and lively. They enjoy interacting with lots of people and getting involved with whatever's going on around them. They are seen as very social and tend to get most of their knowledge and information directly from people that they meet and engage with. They are at their best in crowded places with lots going on. An introvert, on the other hand, is seen as someone that prefers a bit more solitude. They prefer to be left with their own thoughts and ideas and need time to think. When it comes to information, they are more interested in where it came from than who told them. They like to check the details. They also like to go deep into any subject that interests them. They are at their best when left alone with their thoughts. However, problems can arise when introverts and extroverts communicate with each other. When an introvert asks an extrovert a question, the extrovert will often just blurt out an answer. But the introvert may not trust the answer because they think the extrovert didn't take the time to fully consider the question. Introverts just can't comprehend that someone could just throw an idea on the table without thinking it through first. But that's exactly how an extrovert first works. So when an extrovert asks a question, they tend to expect an immediate answer. But if they ask an introvert, then the introvert will need time to think and formulate their answer. The extrovert may suspect that the introvert has a lot to add to their ideas and can get very frustrated when they don't get immediate answers to the questions. But an introvert prefers to work through an idea in their head before they present their findings. When they ask questions, they expect people to go away and think about the answer. Extroverts want to bounce their ideas off others so that they can work their way through them. They like to do their thinking out loud, if you like. Introverts prefer to keep their thoughts to themselves, and if they have to provide answers, they like time to work it all out in their head first, and to keep their reasoning private. Now, not understanding this difference can cause a lot of anguish in organizations and team meetings. In a dynamic team, you need to understand where people are on the continuum and respect their mode of operation. Now, it may seem that there are more extroverts than introverts in the world, but it's just that extroverts make more noise and attempt to get noticed. The distribution is actually pretty even and follows a standard bell curve. But here's the thing. Most of us are actually a mixture of both. Now, if you look at the bell curve, we have extremes on both sides. But you'll see that most people don't lie at the extremes, they fall somewhere in the middle. And yet, people can display either extreme at specific times. So, depending upon their environment, they can display extroversion or introversion. Now, the main difference between being an extrovert or introvert is the amount of external stimulation they need. At the extremes, extroverts need a lot and introverts need very little. Without external stimulation, extroverts can't actually function. With too much external stimulation, introverts just feel exhausted. But extroverts can get lost in a good book just as easily as introverts. And introverts can be the life and soul of the party when they choose to. See, the general usage of the terms introvert and extrovert comes from the concept of introversion and extroversion. Introversion is an internal focus on ideas and thoughts. This is where you're lost inside your head. Lost in your own thoughts up here. Extroversion is where you're focused on the external world around you. You're literally sucking in information about your surroundings at the conscious level. Extroverts like to spend more time focused on the outside world, whereas introverts like to spend more time with their own thoughts. But you're actually switching between the two modes all the time. Now, we may perceive something in the outside world, that's extroversion, but we consider it in an internal world of thoughts. That's introversion, or introspection if you like. Extroversion and introversion seem to happen at the conscious level. By that, I mean you're aware that you're doing it. But if you watched my last video on Jung's 4 functions, you'll realize that this is an interaction between sensing, feeling, and thinking, which is also happening at the unconscious level. I like to think of it like the sun and the moon. Now, the only reason we know the moon is out there is because it reflects the light of the sun. We can't normally see it during the day, but here you can. Sometimes it's obscured by clouds, but it's always there and also always has a noticeable effect on the Earth. It's responsible for our tides as well as many other phenomena around us. The idea has parallels with the Eastern concept of yang and yin. Now, yang is a focus on the inner world of thoughts, and yin is a focus on the external world, but we need both. Now, as you can see from the traditional diagram for the concept, one blends into the other. There's no sharp divide. The small circle within each reminds us that there is yin in yang and yang in yin. The image represents a movement in time between inner and outer. It occurs at multiple levels and at multiple frequencies simultaneously. Through a document called the I Ching, we can map the yin and yang model to Jung's 4 functions like this. What we get is each function, as shown by the coloured ovals, with yang at one end and yin at the other. And as I explained in my last video, these functions also match to the talent dynamic square. So, at the behavioural level of talent dynamics, we're saying we have extroverts on the right and introverts on the left. But when you see the concept through the focus of the I Ching, you see that there's a blending across the divide. The important thing to know is that extroverts and introverts need different working environments in order to be productive. Extroverts need external stimulation, so don't stick them in an office by themselves. And introverts need their own time and space, and they quickly tire in very busy open-plan offices with continuous interruptions. Extroverts enjoy the rush of the moment, but introverts need time to prepare. Now, the talent dynamics assessment can identify the preferences within your team so that you can create the environment and job roles where everyone can be happy and productive. If you want to use talent dynamics to identify your preferences and how they differ from those you work with, then please get in touch. And I will explain why talent dynamics is more than just a profiling tool. It's actually a complete business development pathway. I will reveal more about that in future videos. But if you just want to take an assessment, see how it feels, you can do so from my website. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now.